Hey guys, welcome back to the DAHKTUBE. And before I get started, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Now we're going to do one more question with the modulus equation. Then we're going to move on to modulus inequation. Let's say I have this question here, which is modulus of 3x plus 1 over x plus 2 is equal to 2. So based on the rule that says the modulus of A over the modulus of B is the same thing as this, we can split and we have 3x plus 1 modulus over modulus of x plus 2, and we can equate that to 2. So now this is basically you equating two fractions, so you can just cross multiply. So you'd have the modulus of 3x plus 1 is equal to 2 times the modulus of x plus 2. So now we could do the positive and the negative. So for the positive aspect, it would be 3x plus 1 is equal to 2x plus 4. Then we group our like terms, so that's 3x minus 2x equal 4 minus 1. So that means x would be equal to 3. And then we'd have to do the negative, which would be negative 3x plus 1 is equal to 2x plus 4. So that's minus 3x minus 1 is equal to 2x plus 4. So that's minus 3x minus 2x is equal to 4 plus 1. So based on that, that means x is equal to minus 1. And that would be a final answer. So here we're going to do inequalities involving modulus. So for all a and b in reals, for the first one, the modulus of a is less than the modulus of b, implies that a squared is also less than b squared. And this symbol here means double implies. So this implies this, and this implies this. Then the modulus of a is greater than the modulus of b, implies a squared is greater than b squared. The modulus of a is less than b, implies that minus b is less than a, which is less than positive b for b greater than 0. The modulus of a is greater than modulus of b, implies a is less than minus b, or a is greater than b for b greater than 0. And the modulus of a plus b is less than or equal to the modulus of a itself plus the modulus of b itself. So these are some very important properties to note and to keep in mind for when you're doing the questions. So for this question here, we can use property 4, which says that the modulus of x would be greater than y, implies x is less than minus y, or x is greater than y. But because the symbol here is different, we would switch it around. So for this question here, so method 1, so we'd have x minus 4 is less than 5, or we'd have x minus 4 is greater than minus 5. So here we'd have x would be less than 5 plus 4, so x would be less than 9, or x would be greater than minus 5 plus 4, x would be greater than negative 1. So this we can rearrange and say that minus 1 is less than x. So here we could get a range of values, which would have x in the middle, the minus 1 to this side, and the 9 to this side. So this would be a final answer. So we can use another method. So method 2. So method 2, we're going to use the property number 3, using number 3 property. So we'd have minus 5 less than the modulus, which is x minus 4 less than positive 5. So what we do, we'd add 4 to all sides. Because this is a minus, in order to get rid of it, we'd have to add 4. So because we're adding 4 in here, we have to add 4 out here and out here. So we have minus 5 plus 4 is less than x less than 5 plus 4. So we'd have minus 1 is less than x, which is less than 9. And this would be an answer. Then we'd have method 3. So again, we have modulus of x minus 4 less than 5. What we could do is square both sides. So we'd have modulus of x minus 4 squared less than 5 squared. So we'd have x minus 4 squared minus 5 squared less than 0. So this could be the difference of two squares. So this would be one term by itself, and this would be a term by itself. So we'd have x minus 4 plus 5 times x minus 4 minus 5 less than 0. So we'd have x plus 1 and x minus 9 less than 0. So that means here x would be less than minus 1 and x would be less than 9. However, here we'd have to do some testing to see that if this is actually true. So we're testing for x less than minus 1. So we choose a value for x that is less than minus 1. For example, x is equal to minus 2. So we're going to substitute that into the x plus 1 times x minus 9 less than 0 to see if it is actually true. So we have minus 2 plus 1 times minus 2 minus 9 less than 0. So this would be minus 1 times minus 11. But this is going to give you positive 11, and positive 11 is not less than 0. So what that means is the x value has to be greater than minus 1. Now we're going to check when x is less than 9. So for example, we can choose x is equal to 8. And again, we're substituting that here, x plus 1, x minus 9, less than 0. So that's 8 plus 1, 8 minus 9, less than 0. That would be 9 times minus 1, less than 0. And that will give you minus 9, which is actually less than. So you're going to leave this alone, but this one is going to change to this here. So your range of values for your final answer would be x, you have minus 1 here, and you have 9 here. So this would be a final answer. So if you compare this to method 2 and 3, you would see that why this is actually the answer for real. So let's say we have this question here. Property number 4. So that means we'll have x squared minus 5x minus 1 is greater than or equal to 5, or x squared minus 5x minus 1 is less than or equal to minus 5. So here we have x squared minus 5x minus 1 minus 5 is greater than or equal to 0, or x squared minus 5x minus 1 plus 5 less than or equal to 0. So we have x squared minus 5x minus 6 greater than or equal to 0, or x squared minus 5x minus 4 less than or equal to 0. So here we'd have to factorize. So if you factorize, you're going to get x minus 6 times x plus 1, or x minus 4, x minus 1, and you'd get here x greater than . So you'd have to do the testing again to see what's the actual answer. And then you'd have x and x greater than 1. And again, you do your testing. All right, so let's say we have this question here. So first of all, you'd see that x is not equal to minus 2, because if it is minus 2, that means you get 0 in the denominator and you cannot divide by 0. So again, we can use property number 4, where we'd have x minus 4 over x plus 2 is less than 5, or x minus 4 over x plus 2 greater than minus 5. So what you'd have to do now is you'd have to multiply both sides by the square, because this is inequality, by the square of the denominator. So this would cancel with one of these. So you'd have x plus 2 times x minus 4 less than 5x plus 2 squared. So you'd have x plus 2 times x minus 4 minus 5x plus 2 squared less than 0. Here you could factor out x plus 2 because it is common. Then you'd have a big bracket with x minus 4 minus 5 times x plus 2 less than 0. So now you'd have x plus 2. And if you simplify what is inside the bracket, that would give you x minus 4. So then you have minus 5 times x, which is minus 5x, and minus 5 times 2, that will give you minus 10, less than 0. Then you simplify again. So that's minus 4x minus 14, less than 0. So you'd have x plus 2 less than 0, and you'd have minus 4x minus 14 less than 0. So here x would be less than minus 2, and x would be less than negative 3.5. So when you do your testing, so you can try the values and you do your testing, and then what you'd end up with is x is greater than minus 2 or x is less than negative 3.5. So that's for the first part. So now we're going to do the OR. So then for OR, it was x. So for OR, it was x minus 4 over x plus 2 greater than minus 5. So you're multiplying both sides by x plus 2 squared, x plus 2 squared. That's going to give you x plus 2 times x minus 4 greater than minus 5x plus 2 squared. So carry that over, so it's x plus 2, x minus 4 plus 5x plus 2 squared greater than 0. Can factor out the x plus 2 again. So then we'd have x minus 4 in a bracket here plus 5x plus 2 greater than 0. We can simplify inside the bracket. We're going to get x minus 4 plus 5x plus 10 greater than 0. So now we're going to have x plus 2, 6x plus 6 greater than 0. So then you have x plus 2 is greater than 0 and 6x plus 6 greater than 0. So here you're going to have x is greater than minus 2, and you're going to have x is greater than minus 1. So again, you do your testing, and then you'd end up with x is less than minus 2 or x is greater than minus 1. So thank you guys for staying tuned, and I'll see you guys next time on the DAHKTUBE.